Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Join me at the market site in Times Square. We have John Lively. He's a managing partner over at Practus. John, it's great to have you with us on set at Market Site. Tell us more about Practus. What type of law firm is it, and what type of practice areas do you represent?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me here.
Welcome.
I greatly appreciate that. Practus is what we like to think of as kind of the next generation type law firm. We're building a law firm that's really designed to push control back to the attorneys. We're leveraging technology a lot, and we are indeed a law firm. We're not like a lot of other models out there that are, kind of independent contractor type models where people are leaving the large law firms and they're on an island on their own. We are a law firm, but we do leverage technology. We're trying to push control back to lawyers, give them more control over their lifestyle, over their economics, so that they can gain more happiness out of the practice of law.
All right, so tell us about the Practus economic model.
Well, the economic model is a lot different than the traditional law firm. The traditional law firm, I think, has a lot of opaque nature to it. It's not as transparent. It doesn't have as much control to the lawyer. What we do is we give a lot of transparency. We basically take a certain level fee, which we refer to as an A-level fee. That's for the basics that every lawyer in the firm needs to have. Stuff like insurance, technology, back office accounting, things of that nature that every lawyer basically needs to practice law. After that, the lawyer has complete and absolute control over their expenses. They can choose to do or utilize certain things called B-level expenses as well as C-level expenses. It's not a lot of difference between the B-level and the C-level expenses. They hit your capital account the exact same way. These are basically expenses that you as the lawyer choose to control. A B-level expense is just something that you want to share with another lawyer in the firm. So for instance, if you want to take a client out to dinner, you can split that cost, and that's referred to as a B-level expense. Or if you want to have an office space, you can split that expense. That's a B-level expense. A C-level expense is an expense that basically you choose on your own to incur. And these are things that are common, or some commonplace things, some that are not commonplace things. Certainly things like healthcare and your retirement are common examples, but to the extent you want a particular type of a computer, or you decide that you want home office equipment or things of that nature, these are all your choices to put back into the firm as C-level expenses that hit your capital account.
All right, now speaking of expenses, how do fee arrangements with clients work then?
Well, that's a great question. What we kind of believe fundamentally is that there are a lot of things about the traditional law firm that are broken, that are not exactly practice, or you say firm and partner friendly. Our name Practus is somewhat derived from the words practice of law and the word us. It's our clients in the law firm coming together. And what we try to do is we encourage lawyers who know their clients better than anybody, better than any management group at the head of the law firm, to work out arrangements that work with the clients best. There are some clients that probably are okay with the traditional model of basically your time that you spent times your billable rate, but a lot of clients want partnerships and economic arrangements that work better with their particular business model. So we encourage the attorneys to look at things like fixed fee arrangements, contingent fee arrangements, even equity type fee arrangements can work from time to time.
All right, now how about the use of technology and Nasdaq Board Vantage in particular? What are some of the benefits and advantages to that?
Well, that's one of the things we try to distinguish ourselves on, is the technology that we utilize. We think we're relatively small, so we think we're really nimble, which is a good thing. And we allow attorneys to basically rely on technology in such a way that it really doesn't matter where they are in the world. They could be in the South Pole, Argentina. I spent a significant amount of time in Argentina when I first rolled out and did this thing. Go to Europe, go to wherever the client needs you to be, or wherever your family needs you to be. You can utilize that. With Board Vantage, that's a specific thing to the practice that I have along with a number of my partners. And that's a fantastic example of technology that we try to utilize. That's something that, it counts on a couple of fronts. One, it gives us credibility. We're partnering with a fantastic global presence type company, but a company that's also kind of similar minded to the way that we think as well. It also allows us to deliver a product to our clients that's the top level technology for board meeting management. We utilize this for our mutual fund clients. We administer board books. We're able to put together board books with the Board Vantage, among other things. We do a lot of kind of permissions. We call them unanimous written consents that we use through this Board Vantage product. But we administer board books, and it allows us to get information to the board members while we're in the board meeting. We try to release several weeks in advance, but we can do up-to-the-date types of updating throughout the board meeting. So it's a great technology. Our clients so far that have utilized it have looked at it and said they've seen other kind of examples of technology that's similar, but they say this is the top technology that they've ever seen. So it's a great technology for us, for our clients, and we're really happy about the partnership with Nasdaq.
All right, thank you so much for that. Practice attorneys, it sounds like they have a lot of flexibility and freedom. What are your expectations there? How do you track time? And from your experience, what's it like to work remotely?
Yeah, all right, so that's a great question. So I think when you think about that, think about when our firm started, and actually kind of the predecessor to our firm. It was something I built for myself. I built it because of my family. I wanted more time with my family. My prior law firms were types of law firms where there were significant requirements for billable time. There were significant requirements for face time as well. And that wasn't conducive to me. I'm a Catholic guy. I've got 4 kids. I want to spend time with my family. And that wasn't always really conducive to the practice of law at kind of some of the large law firm type models. So I built something that was designed to allow me to have more control over my lifestyle, less control commuting in from the suburbs into the city. And you know, that was taking back hours. I was doing the math in my head, an hour and a half or an hour each way. You know, that's 2 to 3 hours a day, 10 hours, maybe 15 hours a week of commuting time. That was valuable time I could give to my family. So we built the firm that allows us to give control back to that attorney so that they can determine what is best for them. Maybe it is best for them to go into an office, but maybe it's best for them just to work out of a home office. And that flexibility, that control that we want to give back to the attorneys is really designed to help attorneys kind of grab back something that is missing in the practice law in my mind. I think if you look at a lot of studies out there that talk about kind of the happy factor when it comes to various professions, I think the only profession perhaps that consistently ranks below lawyers is dentist. All right, so that's not good company to be in necessarily. So we want to kind of take that happy factor and push it up on the scale a little bit, give control back to the attorneys and make them happier.
All right, well, what's your typical day look like? Although I realize for kids, there's nothing very typical about it. But
typical at all.
Within the scope of practice, what's a typical day like for you?
Typical day for me. I get up every morning probably in the 6 o'clock hour. This is my choice. I exercise. I read the Bible. And then I start working. I generally start my day off at the kitchen table. I want to see my kids leave the house. I want to see them packing up their lunches, and I'll work there until about mid-morning or so. And then I'll typically go to my office and I'll work. In my office, I work out of a home office. I also travel a lot. That's a choice that I have, but it's travel for clients mostly, and that keeps me on the road a lot. So when I'm on the road, obviously I'm not seeing my kids and whatnot, but when I'm at home, I make sure that I'm there, I can see them come in, and then in the evenings or the afternoons, I make sure that I'm around so that I can see them come in the door as well.
It sounds like since joining Practus, your life is really different and in a good way.
Absolutely, absolutely, it's fantastic. We definitely have seen kind of a change in the way the family dynamics work. I think, you know, it's not just that. I mean, there is family there, and that's important to a lot of people. Sometimes there are some lawyers out there that may not be as important to, but we have other aspects of our model that allow them to control it and make the practice something that they want for themselves. And if they want a practice that doesn't have a lot of demands in terms of billable hours, that's fine. But if they want to put in 2,500 to 3,000 billable hours a year, that's fine also. It's kind of their choice.
It sounds like the quality of their work is better too because they're personally, they need to have more clarity.
I think there's no question about it. I think if you look at the types of people that have joined Practus so far, and if you could see what's in our pipeline, attorneys that we're talking to, all of them have practiced in their respective disciplines at the highest levels in the country. In some cases in the world. So we're really happy with the quality of attorneys that we're getting, and I think the types of work that they're doing continues to be work that's at a very, very high level. It's just that they can kind of control it now.
All right, now to wrap up here, if you could say anything to all the attorneys listening in, what would that be?
I think what I would say is take back control. Don't be a slave to the system. In a lot of the traditional law firms, you're only as good as your last billable hour. There's a lot more to the practice of law than that. I think you can practice high quality, professional work and still have a great balance of life.
All right, John, thanks so much for joining us at MarketSite.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining me on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.